Hi, today we're going to do an introduction to spins because we're going to start with this great quote. Every shot should have some type of intentional spin. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to outline the benefits of spin. We're going to define what they are, what spins are, and the nicknames that come with them, because sometimes the nicknames of spin get confusing, especially for the newer players. So when you say, okay, slice is also underspin, then they sort of get it. But then there's slice serves, which is side spin. So that can be confusing to people. So this is meant as a primer on spin. So if you're a spin expert, then you could skip this one, or if you think you are. But anyway, so this is the beginning of Tennis Strategy 201. So currently, Tennis Strategy 101 is in its second draft and being edited and will be an ebook by the end of this month. But now I'm starting on the initial phases of Tennis Strategy 201. And the intermediate player and above really does need to intentionally be spinning the ball. The brand new player needs to get the ball up and over the net and cross court and deep down the middle of the court. They shouldn't be thinking too much about exotic spins. But okay, so let's talk a little bit about the benefits of spin. All right, the number one benefit of spin that many people do not realize is that it helps with Bernoulli's principle. It helps with the accuracy of the shot. It helps the ball fly more truly through the air accurately. So, you know, an analogy would be that a rifle is has something down the barrel. I forget what you call that thing, but it makes the bullet spin. And so, because the bullet is spinning, then Bernoulli's principle comes into play, where the oxygen molecules start to act like ball bearings, and so they go around, and then the bullet can penetrate the air um, more directly. Whereas a musket fired a pellet, that wasn't spinning, and then the pellet would sort of waffle through the air like a knuckleball does in baseball, right? And so that's what makes a knuckleball knuckle, is the lack of spin. So there you have it. So that's the number one benefit, is that you can become more accurate with your shots, whether it's top spin or slice or side spin or whatever you want to call it, kick. Um, Another benefit is that you can more widely vary the effect of your shots. So this spinning the ball is the major weapon of the disruptive player. But then also, spin really does help the power player, because top spin is going to help a power player keep the ball in. Spin is going to help the one who is pressuring time and space, because they can vary the depth of their shots better by using different spins. The player who's going to pressure time and space, no, I'm sorry, the player who's going to pressure movement can also use spins to make greater distances for people to go through. And as the aforementioned disruptive player is going to be the player who's spinning the ball the most, generally, and having a wider variety of spins that they use. And then, finally, if you are running around hitting one more shot, and just kind of grinding your way on the day, you still probably need to both be able to slice, hit underspin, right? And also to be able to hit some topspin. So definitely going to help everybody to have that. Now, we're going to define terms, because, you know, topspin is when the top of the ball is moving forward. So as the ball rotates that away from you, and the top of the ball is going like that, that's topspin. And then what happens is the air pressure builds up on the top of the ball. The ball's spinning, so there's going to be some more accuracy, but the air pressure builds up, helps the ball come down. But the downside of spin is that the more spin you use, then the less speed you have available to you. All right, so topspin makes the ball land shorter, but it also makes it jump up higher. And, you know, if you're hitting really flat shots and they're always going out, and you add just enough topspin, you can start to make it go in. So that's topspin. And then there's underspin. So you go under the ball, and the ball is riding the air. So the bottom of the ball is going forward. And so the underspin of the ball, also with the nickname slice, on a ground stroke, then the ball starts to ride the air. So it starts to act like an airplane wing. And one of the chief benefits there is that you can get the ball deeper, easier, with less effort. So as a defensive shot, it's really great. So underspin creates great depth. But then another amazing thing is it can actually be a very offensive shot, because you can hit it hard. You can hit a slice shot hard, and when you do that hard enough with enough spin, then the ball can actually skip off the ground. It can really stay super low and be very penetrating in the court. So it can be a really amazing offensive shot, although it's the percentages of those that you're going to make will be less than a top spin shot. Anyway, when you go for the offensive one. And, you know, it also can be used to float the ball back. And, you know, if those of you who are fans of Winning Ugly and Brad Gilbert and all that, I mean, I don't know how many of you got a chance to see him play, but with his backhand, he really was amazing with his slice. And he could do all sorts of different things with that. I mean, I saw him hitting 5 different varieties of slice to throw his opponents off. So he would do that, you know, really aggressive knifing slice and come to the net, you know, and then he would have one that was, you know, a decent drive that would float to the baseline. And then he had these ones where it was like a little fluff ball, and it would just kind of go up in the air and really arrive very slowly and kind of go poof. And then he would lob with it as well, and just seemed to have every little variety in between. So it could be really a great change of pace. So that's the main benefit of slice, is that it's a change of pace. And then we get side spin, which, you know, more people, the more advanced you get, the more you should be using side spin. So you can go across the ball like so, and then it will move this way or that way, right? And then later on, we'll talk about combining some of these things. So we don't want to do that right now. This is our primer, but just so you know, you can start to come up with combinations, and we're going to cover that in Tennis Strategy 301. All right, so we have topspin, underspin, also known as slice, right? And we have side spin, which on a serve, we call it a slice serve. So slice ground strokes is underspin, slice serve is side spin. I don't know who came up with this stuff, but just want to make sure that we clear that up for you. All right, now let's go through each style of play and come up with a couple of things that people can use the spin for. All right, so we'll start with the power player. You know, if we go back to the days of Sampras and Agassi, and I'm pretty sure that I haven't looked at a lot of the spin data lately, but if I had to guess, I would say that Federer is closer to playing the way Agassi and Sampras did than any of his top contemporaries. Del Potro, who just retired, was probably even more so, more like Agassi. So anyway, and the reason I'm comparing them is because John Yandell, a number of years ago, through the early use of super slow-mo video, discovered that Pete and Andre, their average amount of RPMs on their ground strokes was somewhere between 17 and 1900 RPMs. John also discovered that when a flat ball hits the ground at a certain miles per hour, I'm going to guess it's a decently fast miles per hour, that it picks up 2000 RPMs. So now, and I said this to John a while back, and I'm not really sure he accepted it, but to me, it just makes perfect sense. So if you hit something that's pretty close to, so if you were going to have this moment of friction, and then it's turning, and then you have that moment where, the friction happens and that slows the ball down. Well, if the ball's already spinning at approximately 2000 RPMs, then it's not going to slow down as much. And so to me, that seems to be an ideal amount of spin to put on the ball if you're a power player, because you'll get two benefits. One, you're going to get the ball to drop down into the court. And two, you're not going to lose as much speed at the last end of the flight of the ball. One thing my students often remark about is how, when I'm top spinning in that way, how heavy my ball feels on the other side. So, I think that explains the so-called heavy ball. But, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always open for a discussion about that. But I think it's pretty clear cut. But yeah, we can talk about it. So now for the player who is pressuring an opponent's time and space, right? That same thing applies. You want sort of an amount of top spin that's going to put the pressure on. But what you can do also is you can put more or less top spin on, and then all of a sudden, then you can have that top spin that comes across really heavy, and then you'll have that feeling of pressure, on the other person. So now with the time and space person as well, one thing you can do is you can use a slice serve to go into somebody's body. Because it's kind of tricky, because it looks like it's over there, and then it's curving towards the person, and then all of a sudden, then they're in here, and could be a bit of a surprise. So it will require that player really start to read and react to the shot. So that's one way that time and space can be dealt with that way. Another one is, you're using underspin. And then you can hit a drop shot, which pressures their time and space, because they've got to move fast to get up there to that ball, and then you've brought them closer, so that then you can pass them after that. So underspin, drop shot, also works. And then heavy top spin, high bouncing, high arcing top spin, with the ball going, more than 5 feet over the net, and bouncing deep and pushing that player all the way back to the back fence. That's also a really good, time and space move, because then what you really push them back to where they're going to be, you can get them 20, maybe even 25 feet behind the baseline, up against the fence back there. So it all kind of depends on how long that baseline is back there. So some courts, I would say most courts are coming in around 25 feet. I've seen some courts where the fence is only 20 feet behind the baseline, and even 15 feet. So um, that's a little tough when you only have 15 feet of baseline back there. But um, so those are some big things that you can do with spin in that regard. And then if you are pressuring their movement, then that's mostly going to be through topspin, because you can use your topspin to create a short angle to pull the opponent this way, and then you can hit heavy topspin deep to the other corner and really move them around. But you could also slice to that deep corner, and that's going to be a little bit easier to get some depth. So a little bit of side spin can help also pull the person off the court more. So creating a little bit more movement pressure for them. The slice serve also, especially if you're a righty serving into the deuce court, use your slice serve to pull somebody off the court. Opens up that court for a lot more movement. Lefty to the ad court. It's a great move. So just a couple of examples there. Now, when it comes to the disrupting game, then really what you want to do is vary your spins as much as possible. And let's say you're brand new to the disruption game. Then what you can do is you can go top spin, slice, relatively flat shot, slice, top spin, relatively flat shot, slice, slice, top spin, top spin, top spin, slice, and vary things enough so that you're really messing with the timing of your opponent, because there are a lot of players who really need to have good timing in order to do what they're going to do. I find that a lot of power players and heavy topspin players really need a sort of a consistent ball given to them, right, in order to be able to hit their shot and not miss hit. Right. And then finally, if you're just going to run around all day and try to make another ball, then being able to slice is really important, because you can get better depth with less effort. On the other hand, slice shots are going to go a little bit closer to the net, so you don't have quite as much margin for error. So, you might have to really pay attention to the arc of that shot. But typically what you see from, so-called grinders who, just are retrieving baseliners is they'll just run around all day and hit topspin all day long. High arcing topspin for safety deep down the middle of the court, or deep cross court. So anyway, that's my primer on spins. And every shot that you hit should have some intentional spin, and then also it should line up with the strategy that you're playing on the day. So if you're playing a disruptive style and you're only hitting the same spin over and over again, right, then that tactic doesn't really fit with your game plan. And if you are trying to move people around on the court, but you don't use short angle topspin shots, and you never slice deep to the opposite corner, then you're missing out on a little thing that can really enhance your ability to stretch people out on the court and make them move more. If you're playing the pressure, time, and space game, right, then you need to spin balls into people's body. That's a major part of it. And then also, not spinning the ball so much that you lose so much speed that you're not putting them under time pressure. That's also really important. One little nuance to this is if you're going to take the ball earlier than normal if you're going to take it closer in the court. And I don't say take it on the rise. And later I will get into in the 301 course. I will probably have a full discussion on why I don't say take it on the rise. But anyway, when you're taking the ball early, sometimes that's a really good time to slice because the ball's coming up and you can go kind of down through it and it will still go up. It's a nice advantage to be able to take the ball coming off the ground and using the pace that you get with that. So you can use that to take away time and space. Right. And then another little nuance of taking away time and space is that when you slice that ball, when you kind of knife it and you get it to stay nice and low, then you kind of put pressure on people to get down, right? And dig that ball up. And it's going to slow them down being able to get to the next shot. Right. I think I've already explained really well, the benefits of changing up your slices and your top spins and your side spins when you're playing a disruptive game. Right. But basically, the idea is, make sure you stick to the ones that you can make and also vary them widely enough that you get the effect. If you keep hitting the same shot over and over again, then you're not really disrupting them that much. So you can slice this way, and then you can slice a floater, and then you can slice with a little bit of side spin or whatever, or float one way up, or you can hit a penetrating top spin followed by a short angle top spin followed by a really big arcing top spin, and vary that. That's a Nadal move all the way. And then finally, the retriever, wants to be able to use spins on shots because then they're going to have greater accuracy in their shots, and because you really have to not miss if you are playing that retrieving game. The premium has to be on hitting your shots as accurately as you can, so that you're not running too much. Because that's a really tough day at the office. It's going to be really brutal. And if you have to play 3 long sets, then you're going to find it hard winning a second match in the day. Hey everybody, let's revive the days of the 3 long sets. We really need that. This whole two sets and a tiebreaker thing's total garbage. So anyway, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this talk. And if you're feeling generous, just go ahead and you can send me a Venmo at BillPatton720. And then take a moment to spend your social digital currency, right? You got your finger right here. Press like, you can share it to a friend, subscribe, hit the little bell notification. And those things make a difference. And I want to thank you. If you are the one who's been buying books, thank you, because I've noticed that in the last few weeks since I've been making the videos that book sales are starting to go up. And so yesterday I crossed the $500 a month threshold. So for those of you who thought I was making tens of thousands of dollars a month selling books, you are wrong. But that's nice. I think so. My next threshold is going to be to try to get it over $600 a month, which I've only ever done one time. So there was a time when I was over $600 a month, and a good goal, I think, by the end of this year would be to have that over $1,000 a month, because then it's on its way to becoming a pretty solid residual income. Anyway, you can do these kinds of things. If you want help writing your book, give me a call and we'll work that out. I have published books for people. I published my friend's young adult novel. I published Sterling Strother's book, 7 Ways to Enter Your Play State, and others. So it's been fun. And thanks for watching once again. and we'll see you in the next one.